My name is Noelia, and for many years of my life, I battled and struggled with depression, and I can happily say now that I have overcame it. I want to share with you my journey. I hope this video helps lead anyone in the right direction and know that you're not alone. I almost feel stuck talking about this topic, not because I don't have much to say, but because there's so many things that I can say. When I was feeling down, I rarely ever verbalized my feelings because I didn't know how, because I couldn't explain it myself. So how was I able to explain it to anybody else? I want to share my story with you guys because when I was going through that, I really felt alone, and I don't want anyone to ever feel that way. So if this video helps at least one person, then that's the intentions of this video. When people would ask me, why do you feel this way? You have so many things that you can live for. You have X, Y, and Z. My answer was always the same, and it was, I don't know. I just do. That answer was never enough for people, and honestly, that answer was never enough for me either. Why did I feel this way? Why was I feeling so down when I had so many great things to look forward to? I don't know why. I just do was the way that I would express my loneliness, my sadness, my feeling of defeat. And I hated the way that I felt. I hated that I would lash out on people, that I would be in my room, that I would be angry. It was just the only way that I knew how to feel, express myself. I was never sure, but I just knew that it wasn't how I wanted to be. This is not the person that I wanted to be. I convinced myself, I convinced my mind that that was the only way that I could feel. It honestly wasn't always like this. There would be days that I would feel happy and uplifted, but the days that I would feel really sad, they were always unwelcoming. It was always a battle. I remember one night it was drizzling and I was in my friend's car, and I remember lashing out on them because I was just upset and I was angry, and I had internalized all of that anger and attacked them. I was redirecting my anger that night, and it wasn't fair, and it's not fair to be mean to somebody else just because you're feeling upset, just because you're feeling sad. And I know that sometimes it feels like it's something that we can't control, but we can control it. We can control our emotions. We can control all of our feelings. That night, I remember I was in the car and I was crying, and I told myself this is gonna be the last time that I act this way. This is gonna be the last time that I just lash out for no reason and be upset at everyone, be upset at the whole world. I knew why I was getting upset. I knew that I was upset at myself. I wasn't upset at anybody else. But for some reason, when I would explode, and it would mess with everybody, not just myself. And that was never fair. That was not fair to them. That was not fair to myself. And I remember that one night, I said, you know what? I am not gonna act like this anymore. And I sat down in my car and I remember praying and saying, please, I do not want to feel this way anymore. I remember going back into the house, and it was a very silent night. my mom would actually go to the thrift store a lot when I was younger, and I would love going to the thrift store with her because you could find so many cool things. The next day after I had this like outburst, I went to the thrift store with my mom, and I walked all the way to the back of the store and went to the book section. I remember looking up at the shelves and trying to find a book that would spark my interest, just to read for fun, just to get my mind off of my own mind and maybe in another world. While I was in the thrift store, I remember seeing this book that was light blue and yellow, and it really intrigued me, so I picked it up. The title of the book was The Power of Now. I flipped open to one of the pages, and the first thing that it said was, "This book found you," or "You found this book." And I looked at it immediately as some sort of calling, some sort of awakening, and it was something that I really could not explain. But I had a really hectic night, and I prayed, and I knew that I was going through a lot, that when I found this book, something inside of me just said, buy it. It was more of a self-help book, which is something that I had never read before. A self-help book about being present and living in the moment, living in the now. And I went up and I showed my mom the book, and I told her I want to get this. So I took the book home, and that was really the turning point to so much of my life. That day that I found the book, I went up to the hills, which is this place that had a whole bunch of trees and rocks, and I sat there and I started to read this book. I took my dog with me because every time I would take walks, I would just take her. I never realized how having pets really helps you, especially when you're not feeling the best, when you're feeling down, when you're feeling depressed. They can really be there for you. And I opened up this book, and instantly it's kind of like something clicked in my head. It's like something just clicked in my head, where I realized that I didn't have to be unhappy anymore, that potentially from what this book was saying, all of it was a choice. My sadness was a choice, the way that I thought was my choice, and that I was in control of all of my emotions. And for me, when I was feeling depressed, I felt like I wasn't in control of anything. So reading this book really helped me, just wake up. Like, I would look at the trees differently, I would look at myself differently. And it took me a long time to finish this book because each paragraph and each sentence had so much meaning and so much depth behind it, that I would take whatever I had read and then apply it to my world, apply it to my life. So reading this book took me some time because I was using what the book was saying and practicing it in my real life, because I was not joking around about me feeling better. I was done. I was absolutely done. I was distraught. I had messed up so many things in my life from acting that way and feeling that way, and if there was some way that I could not feel that way, I was gonna do it. And I really felt as though when I found that book, my whole life changed. My whole life changed, and I had so much hope that things were just gonna get better. And I know that it's even strange saying that I felt better from a book, but it's true, and it's my story. Like, I had gone to therapy before, not as much as I probably could have gone or wanted to go. Nobody truly knows how you're feeling because they're your feelings, but there's people who can relate to you. There's people who understand certain aspects and certain things that you're going through because they have gone through that too. And it was so hard for me to believe that. I would just say, I'm alone in this, and I wish that I hadn't thought that way. And now I know that I don't have to think that way. There is always a way out. There's always a way out, and there's always a way to feel better. You just have to believe it. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. I promise. There is no life living if you are not alive. Thank you so much for watching.